Hey guys, welcome back to for StarCraft 2 Strategy, your #1 location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Terran build. This is going to be Marine and Siege Tank. This is a good build versus Zerg opponents. I've been using it with quite positive results in the Diamond League. So this is a game between myself, Force, and I dominate in the Diamond League. I believe this was an even match, and I was around rank 6 or 7 Diamond at this point. Have dropped down from that first place Diamond spot when I know I posted that video earlier last week. I've been really concentrating on producing some videos for you guys, haven't really been playing as much, plus obviously I have my other thing called a life going on, so it kind of makes it hard. Basically wasn't playing games for a while, dropped down, people surpass you, it happens. No big deal. I'm really not too concerned. I don't intend on keeping rank 1 all the time. It takes a lot of work. I know I can do it. Again, I've maintained top 10 pretty much this entire time, and I really want to concentrate on getting quality videos out to you guys. I know the community's had such a positive response to what I've been doing. I definitely want to keep up on it, so that's what I'm going to do. I will be content with top 10 Diamond. I don't need rank 1 constantly. When I get it again, it'll happen, but not too worried about it right now. So getting back into it, enough with my personal stuff. Taking a look at the build order again, this is going to be a Marine Siege Tank build. Very, very effective versus Zerg. Again, it's been very effective for me in the games that I've been playing in versus most Zerg players. Build order is going to be looking pretty standard from the get-go, going with that 12 supply depot followed by the barracks and then the refinery while the barracks is building. I'm going with that quick scout here. I've been really trying to implement early scouting, and I think everyone should do it for the most part. I basically move out with the SCV that I make my supply depot at 10. I rally it straight to my opponent's base, do a little scout here, and get vital information. I really think that getting that information is a lot more important than the extra mineral that you'll be getting from gathering with that SCV early on in the game. And what exactly are you looking for? What does this tell you here? Well, seeing what I saw here, I moved in. Mineral line was pretty saturated for him. Spawning pool was about halfway done, and that was around 16 supply, and I saw no extractors. Basically what that tells you straight off the bat is that he's probably going to be going for a fast expansion, and that's kind of where I make my decision off of. I decide at that point that I'm going to be going for this Marine Siege Tank build. Basically what it's going to do is the Siege Tanks are going to do a really good job for speedlings and banelings as long as they don't get out of position, and the Marines are going to be able to handle any sort of Zerg air that we may be seeing early on. Any amount of mutalisks that you're going to be seeing by the time you push out with this, they're not going to have enough mutalisks to handle the Marines, the amount of Marines that you have. So that refinery, when we went up, we fully saturated it. As soon as we get our first 100 Vespian is when we drop our factory. And then afterwards, we're going to be getting 2 more barracks as well. We definitely want to be pumping out as many Marines as possible. That's basically the core of this build here. So taking a look back at my opponent's base here, you do see that he went for that fast expand like we assumed. He's got his queen up, going to be spawning larva, pretty much going to be pumping out that economy hard. If he's going for a fast expand, he's obviously going to try to utilize that by pumping out drones. So you don't have to worry too much about an early push if you do see your opponent fast expanding. So as you can see here, my factory is just coming up to be finished, and we're going to be getting that barracks. Second barracks went down about 21 supply, and then we're going to be getting 1 more right after that. Attaching the tech lab to the factory, we're going to be researching siege as soon as that's up, and then getting our siege tank as soon as we have that available Vespian as well. Going to be getting that second geyser pretty shortly. I've postponed it thus far because I really haven't needed it too much. Definitely because we need those minerals. We need those minerals early on to be getting up these barracks and to be pumping out Marines. So holding off on the Vespian for a short while isn't really the worst thing in the world. And again, the timing works out pretty well so that when you push out, you will be in a good spot and you should be able to overrun your opponent. Second barracks came up, getting a nice spread on these Marines, trying to stop any overlords from coming in. This Marine checking out the back door. Hey, how you doing, guy? Anyways, this Marine checking out the back door, just looking for any sort of shenanigans going on back here. If he tried to move up and break these down with some Zerglings, we would see it with this Marine. So definitely want to spot that back door. I decided I want to move that Marine back to the front just in case there's anything going on. So I dropped this supply depot back here to get vision that way. Besides that, pretty standard stuff. Again, nothing too complex right now. We're just working on getting out these Marines, getting out these 2 siege tanks. First siege tank just about done. We're going to be researching getting that second one right after. I'm doing a little fancy fun dance over here with these Zerglings, just having a grand old time. Come the end of the game, though, my Zerg opponent is not doing a fancy fun dance. In fact, he is doing an angry pants dance. He was, this guy was not thrilled with my strategy. He did not like what happened, the turn of events that the game took. I think he was, he was obviously assuming that he would win. Who goes in a game implementing strategy thinking they won't win? But if you lose, you don't have to be angry about it. It's not really, it's a video game. Again, once more, I'll say it, it's a video game, no big deal. So we're getting that Spire here. As you can see, he's going for those mutalisks pretty late, simply because he put so many resources into this fast expand, but still, you really don't have to worry. This Marine tank build is going to do pretty well versus many Zerg builds. I've played a few games against Zerg players going to the one base fast muta, pretty much teching straight to muta, and by the time I moved out, he only had about, it's going to work out so that he only has about 4 or 5 mutalisks, and you have this amount of Marines which can take out 4 or 5 mutalisks, so works out well. And again, those siege tanks with proper placement are going to do very well against speedlings and banelings, and it's really, that's the case for siege tanks in general. You really want to make sure that you place them properly, that you don't put them in bad locations, and you spread them out too. You don't want them to get surrounded by any means. I dropped a scan up here. I wanted to see if he was aware of this. I wanted to see if he had anything hiding up here. I saw nothing at the point. Now I do know he can see this because obviously this Overlord's sitting right here. But again, I just wanted to check if there's anything waiting for me at the top. Now he is moving up a couple of these lings. What I'm going to do to save myself from that is keep one siege tank right here. So as I move up, if anything pushes on me, the siege tank will take care of it. I'm also going to drop one siege tank behind this grass here. What that's going to do is it's going to basically cut his vision down from it as soon as I push back this Overlord. So he's not going to be able to see that siege tank, and that's going to be very effective for me. Moving up with some other tanks here as well. Now taking a look back at my base as far as what's going on while I'm moving out with that battle. As I've said a million times before, you really always want to make sure that you have your production buildings. If you're pushing out towards someone and you're trying to take them out, you have your production buildings rallied to where your army is. That way you can get support immediately. As soon as these guys come out, they're going to be supporting immediately. There's going to be no lag time in between. And with hotkeys, you can do this all without having to go back to your base. Right here, I'd be hitting 5, popping out my barracks, then hitting 8 to pop out some Marines, hitting 6, hitting S to get some siege tanks, and having that all rallied to my opponent's base. Now, as you can see here, we're moving up with this. It's too much for him to handle. There are those mutas that I was talking about. And again, by the time we push out, the amount of Marines that you have are going to be too much for the mutas to handle. I did a little kind of forgot this game. What I typically do when I go for this build is I get a tech lab on one of these barracks and I go ahead and research the shield. Very, very effective, I think. I don't do stim packs simply because with no medevacs, I think shield's a lot more effective. It's gonna lengthen the lifespan of your Marines, and they don't regenerate or anything like that. So without any healing units, I'd rather have a larger hit pool than that temporary increase in attack speed. As good as it is, it's that loss of life is kind of a really big deal, especially on a push like this where every unit counts and you don't really want to be messing around or losing any units. Guy asks how I live with myself. It's kind of an odd question. I don't live with myself. I live with my girlfriend, and I don't know why you would ask me such a question based on a StarCraft game. How could you make such an assumption that I lived with myself? Very odd indeed. Anyways, so pushing forward, as you can see, he took out his lair. He's moving up here with these spine crawlers. What you want to do in response to something like that is unsiege your tanks. If anything, really, if you have any sort of units push up on your tanks while they're sieged up and try to get a surround with them, just unsiege them. Use their normal attack mode. It's really, can be very effective. Now, as you can see back in my base here, doing an okay job of keeping my minerals low. Probably could have used another production building. I was also intending on dropping a starport to get a Banshee out, just to kind of set him off guard, but I didn't. I think because I realized when I pushed in that I had more than he was going to be able to deal with, so I wasn't really too concerned about it. I just pretty much kept pumping out what I had. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to get maybe another barracks or to get a factory, or again tech up to that starport. Another thing sometimes I do when I push out like this, since it can be so crippling, even if I don't take him out, I usually have done a lot of damage with this push, so a lot of times I'll expand at that point as well. So now would be a good time to go ahead and drop another command center, push out to your natural, and just work from there pretty much. Moving up here, he's able to get some banelings up on my Marines. I didn't micro him back in time. Not a big deal though. Again, these reinforcements are still coming. He's down to 1 base and just pumping out Zerglings, so I'm really not too concerned. Gonna be moving out here. Pretty much at this point, it's game over. There's not too much he's gonna be able to do about it. So yeah, guys, again, this is a very, very effective strategy. Again, it's Marines and siege tanks. Siege tanks are going to be dealing with a lot of the ground that you could be facing from a Zerg opponent, and the Marines are going to do a good job versus any air. They also do a really good job of ground. You just got to make sure that you micro them away. Don't let them get grouped up or something. Sorry for that pause there. He said something about trash. Not really sure. Again, this guy's really confusing me this game. Maybe his mom asked him to take out the trash. That could be it. So yeah, taking a look back at the build order here, what we're going to be looking at is pretty standard opener with that 12 supply depot, 10 supply depot followed by that 12 barracks. I'm going to be following that up with a refinery when the barracks is building. Saturate that refinery, go ahead and get your factory as soon as you have your first 100 Vespian. Attach a tech lab to that factory, get those 2 additional barracks, and then at that point just pump out Marines and siege tanks. Go ahead and push out when you have 2 siege tanks, as long as it seems like it's going to be effective. That's pretty much been the point that's been most effective for me. And again, I didn't do it in this particular game, but it's a really good idea to attach a tech lab to one of your barracks and upgrade that shield. That's going to help you a lot. And then at that point, prepare for either a tech switch with a starport or go ahead and get an expansion. So yeah, guys, again, this has been a 4 StarCraft 2 strategy. If you guys like our videos here and you like what we're doing, please do subscribe to our channel. Keep watching and keep owning, guys.